Good afternoon, and welcome to this next episode, installment, this next greeting between you guys and myself in regards to living literature. Look, it's taken me a couple weeks to get this together because it's poetry. Like I said in my preview, we'll be talking about author Shawn Bayonne's Intimacy Unchained, guys. And I don't know about you, but when I'm thinking about poetry, it's not something I just want to read. You know, poetry is something that you want to get into, try to understand, try to embody, try to feel it. So that's exactly what I was doing with this. I was really trying to get a feel for it and see exactly what it is that I could bring you guys to give you quality information and insight. I don't know if you can hear the music or not, but I'm trying to set the tone because this is a central conversation. So let's have a little bit of fun today, guys, okay? All right, so again, we're talking about Shawn Bayonne's Intimacy Unchained. When I received the book, I didn't open it immediately. It took me a while because I was doing some other reviews and I like to give my time to each individual review. But when I actually opened it, started reading it, and you have the preface, you have the acknowledgments, I found it very, very interesting that author Shawn Bayonne says, look, I'm pretty much intrigued by, communication and relationships and the interaction of people. I don't think that's different from any normal person, but the fact of the matter is he took that intrigued feeling. He took all of his thoughts and feelings about relationships and communication, and he made poems about them. And I'm not just talking about roses are red, violets are blue, I think you're sweet, come on boo. No, I'm talking about deep, thought-provoking, heart-wrenching poetry, guys. When I was reading, and just to give you guys a little bit of insight on the actual book itself, on this publication, guys, there are, I lost count, 8 different chapters. And each chapter brings you into another entity of communication, relationships, interactions. It brings you a little bit deeper into each one. And it's not like it's like chapter 6 is love is wonderful. But it's a multitude of poems, a multitude of feelings, a multitude of thoughts. It gives you the ability to not only have the initial bookmark of this is what the chapter is about, but then it gives you different poems. And I would think that it would be in the hopes of conveying different emotions. Let me be honest for a moment. This is an honesty moment from Whitney. Okay, guys? As a married woman that's been married 6 years, sometimes you need a little push. You need a little nudge to get yourself back into the thoughts of maybe what he's thinking. And the benefit of this Intimacy Unchained is that it's coming from a man's point of view. So for me, I was like, okay, maybe my husband doesn't feel the exact same way, but it's helpful to have a man's point of view. So if you're a woman and you're watching, it may be helpful just to not take everything to heart, not take everything and think deep about it. But if you see something that pulls at your heartstrings just a little bit, that can give you a little bit of insight to move forward, to better that relationship, to put it back on track, or say no, fall back, this is something that can really, really help you guys. As a man, you can read this and say, yes, brother, you got it. Or say, nah, it's a little bit different, but it's a conversation starter either way. Like I said, they have 8 different chapters, but another unique portion about Intimacy Unchained is the fact that there are haikus in between each chapter. And I don't know if you guys know what this is, but I'm going to take it back all the way to the early English days when we talked about poems and we had to write all these different poems. A haiku is Japanese based. It's a very, very short poetic writing, 3 to 4 lines. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not one of those rhyming type of poems. It's like an interlude. When I think back to all the old CDs and old things that we used to listen to, they always had an interlude. And some of them still do, but they had an interlude that brought you in, that pulled you in, that made you really, really anxious for what was to come. And that's what author Shawn Bayonne is doing. He's saying, look, this is the appetizer before you get that entree, before you get the meat and potatoes, before I give you more. And for that, I can say I appreciate him, because when you set the tone and you establish a foundation, at no point in time can you say that you don't know where you're going from there. You know, you're able to build upon that haiku that's placed in between. I want to give you guys a treat. I actually want to read one of the poems to you. It's found in the infatuation chapter of the book Intimacy Unchained. And for me, I think infatuation is huge, because there are so many fads, so many different things that people find that they like about people, and all that is infatuation. So for me, that was like my chapter. 7's my number anyway, but that chapter, infatuation, it really, really got to me. So I want to give you guys a little sample of what it is that you can find within Intimacy Unchained by author Shawn Bayonne, okay? Stick with me. I'm about to bless you. It's about 8 p.m. in the Gulf of Mexico, twilight time. There sat the ocean, surrounding me in all directions. I was looking west towards the horizon, and that well-defined contrast between water and sky as the sun had just set. It was no longer visible, yet there were still remnants left in its wake. The orchestration of colors that followed could not have been created by anything but nature itself. A deep, burnt orange at the edge of the ocean is where it started, transitioning to a hazy fuchsia that melted into deep lavender. Graduation into a gorgeous indigo, ending in a deep blue. That mimicked the descriptions of the sea only found in novels. Envision fading daylight on the horizon, night sky overhead. The beautiful palette described above, a single star visible through the daylight that remained. A cell of clouds, just to the right of my focus. Showers caused a coarse surface in the otherwise God-painted portrait of serenity, beauty, and magnificence. Peering beyond the rain allowed sight of the wonders that were present, and the arrival at an epiphany. The most gorgeous sight one can witness, accompanied by the disturbance in this visual, spiritual, mental oasis. Yet somehow the appreciation and respect of it is not lost. Above me, around me, there, in the distance, was majesty. I realized I wasn't looking at the water, the rain, or the sky. I was looking at her, and she was beautiful. Guys, you have to feel something, because I felt something. Intimacy Unchained, guys. Author Shawn Bayonne. Look, if you need to get in touch with him, you can reach out to him on Facebook, Shawn Bayonne. It's spelled Bayonne. It is one of those unorthodox last names, but you can look him up. Again, he goes also by the name MIDAS. MIDAS Touch the Poet. Guys, look him up. Instagram him, YouTube him. Find him, because at the end of the day, if you need a pick-me-up in terms of your relationship, you just need to start thinking, are you someone that's interested in any type of poetry? This is not a good start. This is where you continue your journey and you begin to build on yourself. And you do the best that you can do by the way of someone else's insight. Look, I'm going to keep bringing you guys books as long as people want to hear my mouth. This has been a phenomenal journey. Catch me next week. I'll be bringing you more insight on the literary gifts of others. I love you guys. I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of this week and a phenomenal and progressive next week. As always, guys, life's listening.